When Colonel Quaritch died, he was shot through the chest by Neytiri at the end of Avatar. His heart stopped. His human body was left behind on Pandora, and yet, in Avatar: The Way of Water, Quaritch comes back. He remembers his military career, he remembers Jake Sully, and he remembers who he is. And that poses the question, did Quaritch come back? Or did something else wake up believing it was him? This isn't just a science fiction question, it's a philosophical one. Because hidden inside James Cameron's Avatar is one of the biggest mysteries in the franchise. Can an avatar have a soul?
You're a long way from Earth.
Before we can answer that, we need to understand something important. Quaritch is not like Jake Sully. Many people think both characters simply transferred into avatar bodies, but that's not exactly what happened. While Jake was accessing his avatar body, his consciousness was projected into the body. And then later on, Jake's consciousness was transferred by Eywa during a sacred ritual at the Tree of Souls. But Quaritch never experienced that. Instead, before his death, the RDA created what is called a recombinant, a Na'vi human hybrid body implanted with a digital backup of Quaritch's memories and personality. So, the original Quaritch died, and the recom only inherited everything the original knew. That raises kind of a terrifying question. If you perfectly copy every memory, every fear, every habit, every belief, have you recreated the same person? Or created someone entirely new? Now compare that to Jake Sully. Jake also began inside an engineered avatar body. But by the end of the first film, Eywa performs a consciousness transfer, moving Jake from his dying human body into an avatar. The films never explain exactly what Eywa transfers, which, side note, also poses the really interesting dilemma about Kitty and how she exists and why, and that is something that I really wish we get answers to in the future. So back to Jake and Quaritch. What does Eywa transfer? Is it simply information? Or something deeper? The Na'vi believe every living being possesses their life essence or spirit, which eventually returns to Eywa. To them, Eywa isn't just a planetary network, she's the keeper of life itself. If that's true, Jake may not have copied his mind, he may have carried his very soul into another body. And that's exactly where Quaritch becomes fascinating. He remembers his son Spider, he remembers his hatred for Jake, he even develops new emotions and relationships that the original Quaritch never had. Over time, he kind of seems to change. Not because the original man survived, but because the new individual is creating his own experiences. He kind of seems like he's becoming someone different. If the original Quaritch had somehow survived, there would be now two Quaritches. That alone suggests that the recom isn't a continuation of the same consciousness. It's a second life. So, can an avatar have a soul? Biologically, the answer seems to be yes. Avatar bodies are living organisms. They breathe, they heal, they reproduce. Jake and Neytiri's children prove these hybrid bodies are fully alive. And according to Na'vi belief, all living things participate in Eywa's web of life. But possessing life isn't necessarily the same as possessing your soul. Even in our own world, nobody agrees on what a soul actually is. Neuroscience generally explains consciousness as an emergent property of the brain. There is currently no scientific evidence demonstrating the existence of an immaterial soul. Many philosophers and religious traditions, however, define the soul as the enduring essence of a person, the part of you that remains you even if your body changes. James Cameron places Avatar directly between those ideas. The films never force us to choose. And maybe that's why Quaritch exists. Not simply to be the villain, but to ask a question Jake Sully never could. If a machine copies your memories, did you survive? Or did someone else open their eyes believing they were you? Because if Jake's journey represents the transfer of a soul, then Quaritch's journey represents the creation of a copy. And somewhere between those stories, Avatar asks one of science fiction's oldest questions. What is it that truly makes you, you?